3, 2. All right, we are live. Hi everyone, thanks for, if you're watching in future, thanks for joining us virtually. This is the third session of Network State Study Group. Earlier session we covered what is network state. Last session we covered about the history of network state. Today we are gonna talk about the operational side and leadership side of like DAO specifically. So we have Samuel, Barbara, Kabir in the call, and I'm very happy to discuss this article and know your thoughts and brainstorm how we can apply these principles in the DAOs we are involved and at Archidao. So without much ado, I made some notes and you can see my OneNote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a few things like which DAO leaders need to do, which is different than like normal organization. So first, I'll talk about that, and we'll go to the main article. So there are a lot of things like which are unknown, in which we are in the DAO, they are figuring it out. So this is kind of like there's some aspect in startup where like they are doing something which is unknown, but they're all in this together. But also they know like what product they have in mind, and they know like when there are like set of customer buyers, how like the community can grow like exponentially in a day, or so like how to manage that, how to like find a good successful tokenomics model to retain the people, how to find clients. It all like it's very evolutionary. And what are the qualities of successful Web3 leaders? So they help act in the unknown. So for the complexity and chaos, no, not even the current leaders themselves know what's the best practices look. And this is similar, like this reminded me of the idea of for even like for a lot of this metaverses, like they have parcels of land. There's no urban design or like there's no placemaking principle. So like some of us with our experiences in future will write a guideline. What are the principles of DAO organization? What are the principles of urban planning in metaverse? Like these are the things we are experimenting and we'll figure it out eventually. So there are less precedents to look at, but like it's getting better and better with more DAOs evolving, more metaverse evolving. Can mobilize large networks. When a new opportunity or risk appears, leaders need to be able to mobilize the community fast and effectively. The unknown can't be survived without strong response. Like so, one thing I got like the adaptive part is quite important, and that's where like in Akida, there were times when we got new project, we had to make decision whether we commit or not, and we had to check. Oh, do we have people in our DAO who could get involved and deliver it on time, and like uh, those kind of decisions are fast, and like they need strong response time. And a lot of the metaverse clients, they are like, oh, we got this parcel, we should be first to market, so they want like deliverables as soon as possible. Like so it's also like how do you commit to give the best to the client, or also like be responsive. And there are times people commit and don't deliver well, so that also hurts the reputation of the DAO. Instead of direction, of leaders need to support community members to probe and then navigate the new terrain. We need leaders who give us courage, each of us courage, and be trusted to sound the alarm of opportunity and risk. In short, leaders help the community lead itself. It's a self-enforcing virtuous cycle. So like this is quite interesting. So we have like mentorship model in like profession where like, okay, you young people are paired up with a mentor and they grow, but the incentives here are at different scale. And let's say in traditional profession, like if an intern or a young employee works more or harder, there's limited set of like bonus or other incentives line up. Here, if the community leader works harder, that person might get another project and there's a whole big reward lying up for them. So it's a built-in incentive. If the lead community leaders produce more leaders, the leaders will produce another subset of leaders. So it's like a branch growing as the DAO grows. Any thoughts on these 2 points? All right. The next is DAO leaders aren't just inspirational influencers; they are network shapers and catalysts. It's very like uh, deep and like profound like things like here. So this is where like the DAO connects back to the network state, how we shape our policy, governance, and future work, like shapes the network, and how do we foster development, like those are the catalyst aspect the leaders needs to think like proactively. Personal network could seem small, but their mobilization power can be gargant. A call to action from them is not. So this is gonna be like more and more challenging, like as the DAO grows. You might already see there are like 100 people joining, and if someone says, oh, we are having a meeting, or someone says there's an urgent work, can the community join in a day? And if that person doesn't have like a strong influential power in the community, maybe two people join, and that's gonna affect like. So this mobilization power is like very crucial, like for the DAO, like if and like people, how to develop this and how to like form one-to-one relationship with the community is going to be become more and more important and crucial for the DAO functionality. So this is like a good structure of like cabin DAO. So they say three pillar of digital leadership, and these are like contribution needs, leadership needs, and activities. So even like for when a new member joins, like proper orientation of like how where they are, how where is it going, how can they contribute and fit into the mission, like that's a first impression. Like it's kind of same when you join a company and do HR in orientation to give like navigate you through the company. And um there's always like opportunity, and I foresee like there's opportunity at Arkidao, like where we can do a better job in orientation and like thing. And I know like there are like one or two DAOs. What they do is for any member they join, they do schedule a 15-minute call with a orientation leader, and that's where like first 5 minutes they say this is what our DAO is and these are the projects. Uh, and then they ask to the member, tell us what you want to contribute, tell us like where you see yourself in the space. So going to like that call to action for the member, that okay, I could see myself contributing in graphics or marketing or this project, can really help us like onboard them to the new projects which are going on. And that also connects back to us the point you guys were mentioning about like getting more members in network state study group. If people are not aware, maybe in the community call we give like 1 minute overview about network state and say every Saturday we are meeting, you can join us, share thoughts, and that could be a way we can build this grow this group. Yeah, and like a go-to person for support, and like giving also a bigger vision. And this is also a crucial thing at like Arkida, like as we are doing projects and we are pursuing, like we are also morphing our roadmap, and like also we are finalizing our governance and things are in that direction. So if a new member joins, like depending on the level, they might need to know what's the tokenomics, how am I getting incentives, those questions, like maybe that's gonna be a trigger point for their participation. So how do we give that kind of impression that it's like opportunity for everyone to contribute and learn and also have financial rewards. And this skill set, so what are the new skills like us as DAO leaders need to develop? So communicate the vision, provide inspiration, meme and vibe literacy. So this is something like I have seen people bond over memes, and there are like various Discord where they have like a meme channel, which is like people share thoughts and jokes, and people bond over things. So maybe like there's opportunity for us to start a meme channel. And I know architects are Photoshop pros, so definitely creating memes or sharing is not that difficult for us, and deliver compelling storytelling. So one thing we have advantage for Akida is like we have like three awesome projects we are pursuing, and that's so much exciting that people want like that the project sell it for itself. So, but definitely there are opportunities like maybe on our website or other platform where if people go to Akida Twitter, how can we give like a first impression that okay, this is the next big thing, and like uh if either like it we can do storytelling like in during meetings, but what is the storytelling aspect static wise on website or Discord? uh, I don't know, like if you have thoughts, like you can share like how can we make a compelling story in our DAO? Kabir, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I think the projects that we are getting, they are very crucial for storytelling. If we can set a storyline and we can communicate through our websites, it will
Yep,
attract people.
definitely. And
I think I had this idea of memes, having the meme page because it will increase the engagement in Discord channels.
definitely, like, do you think like we should have like integrate it in the main like welcome, like below the welcome chat where people can see and
Yeah.
like just engage? Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Cool, cool. Definitely, 100% agree.
I think like also like in where it goes like where I am and what's the community where the community is going should should be like more clear because like even myself that I've been just recently active here like the it took me like I don't know like start like having to be in the meeting like start like I mean, it's not that something that bothers me, but it took me some interaction to understand what's the point of art DAO. You know, before that is it's a bit like okay, where I am, like a bit confusing. So I think we definitely need to place okay. So what's the main point of actually art DAO? Like, or what's the goal of this organization? Because it's a bit and honestly I still like still yet a bit on the air, which is not like I mean I know like any other group and any other like project in the world like it needs to be shaped, but it will be good to have more a better north star, just like the document says, you know.
I see. And you had to do like proactive engagement. So what do you think? Like one way people do is like to get member interest is like having that community call like one on one. But are there any other ways you can see we can get member excited and like for this?
I don't know, like at least well, I was thinking like it's nice that there's like a Discord already, but I was thinking probably like what if there's like a website as well that you can join and have more information about this because like for example I've been here in the Discord, but I'm not sure like what's going on what else do we have. Okay, so we have a website. Nice.
Yeah,
Finally. So that's something that we should have like a like more maybe also like in this other part like I don't know I like for example, this is the first time that I see the website, you know, like, and I'm
Okay,
like,
so awareness, yeah, like
yeah,
proper documentation of like what
yeah.
are the things. Okay.
I mean, at least if we grow in a community, like I understand, like the community won't happen in the website because they don't happen like in the website. That's the reason we have like Discord, like at the moment being part of it. So maybe it helps, like if we have more details about what is this whole development, right?
Definitely, I'm taking all the notes and feedback.
I was thinking about something. I would be curious to know why all the 150 more or less members of the Discord joined the channel, the Discord 4. Did you join because you were interested in Twitter posts? I joined because I've been following you, and I also was into DAO, and then I put all the things together, and I thought, oh, okay, that might be cool, even though I did not understand exactly what DAO was for from the beginning. And as Samuel, I'm still understanding it, putting things together in my mind. But I would be curious to know what they thought that Akida would be, just to see if this misunderstanding is something that just us felt, just the two of us felt, or if it's something for everybody. Because I also definitely think that clarity is something that we cannot find once we reach the channel, definitely.
Yeah.
Having like more, if we're talking about Instagram or something that can like reels or something like more with animation, I could definitely see something like, come join the new way of doing architecture, and you can work, like giving some examples. You can work in a project that's being developed now for a cafe in New York, for example. Something like this you would call people, that's for sure.
It's a great idea, like call to action, like, okay, this is what it is, this is how, like this is the next project, and if you join now, you can contribute right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's an idea, like to just throw this for everybody, and then we would have like many people. But at least, for example, if the idea is to grow, all the members could do this in their own network. Like if I would post in my Instagram, I have like 100 or more architect friends who don't even know what a DAO is, or may not be aware of any of this. But if I would have a clear way to say, I'm in a community that is doing architecture differently, in a different way, why don't you join us to see if you could contribute and also maybe work like this? If there was a collectively approved way to do that, that would be a great way to expand.
Yeah, I think like this is like a very important point you raised. Like, if in order for members to share and connect with them, like they need to know like the vision and clear first, like themselves. And I wanted to know Kabir's thought, and Kabir has shown interest in like community leadership. So like, what do you think? Like, because like the mapping of new members, like we were thinking maybe like a Google form of their interest, how they want to contribute, and like
Yes.
why they joined. But it's also like, how can we get like gamified so people will do it and not just do for the sake of doing so?
I think providing incentives is the best way in a DAO.
So what can
And
we
so
do?
it means they can earn governance token for doing some things. And also, like Barbara said, that we can also create Google Forms or something like that, and understand and research about them, and what led to choose to slide into the Discords.
I see.
and we can also increase the engagement in various ways.
Mhm. So for example, if they submit the Google form, they get like 20 governance tokens or something. Or
No, I am saying that in order to means get more engaged in Archidao, they can be provided incentives, not for Google Forms.
oh, I see.
Means like what happens in creator cabins. You might have watched. There are different guilds. They get the tokens.
Yeah. So like from my knowledge, like yeah, creator can like it's task-based tokens, or like if you write an article, you get some tokens, or like if you publicize. Is it that way or
Yes.
okay? Okay. Hmm. But like how is the DAO like? For example, let's say the token I'm assuming might have some financial value. So who is providing like that value? Like, how are they earning so that they can give back to the community?
I need to research, I think.
Yeah, like that's a like because like I have seen like a few people like, oh, I'll just create 10,000 tokens and like let's say we'll we'll get $100 and get 10,000 tokens of that DAO, and we are keeping in like giving tokens. The community feels they're getting a lot of tokens, but inherent value is nothing. But also like for successful and long-term engagement, like the DAO should be earn financially so they can give back to the members, and it's a good cycle. Otherwise, someone is losing money and like what's the output? Like that's
Yeah.
another discussion. But we are doing operations, so it's a good point to discuss as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be backed of something, either it's knowledge or it's actual value, right? Maybe in a future discussion, the tokens of the DAO could be created also not only via actual work, but like building the treasure, but maybe via the knowledge that is shared in the community. Once you share this community, this means somehow some token, something that has value, and this you earn or you distribute or something like this. And this would make people get engaged on actually sharing. I don't know how to handle the organization of this sharing knowledge, but it would be a way to make them more engaged on contributing, not only with the development of actual projects, but also with the knowledge.
Yeah. And I remember like Kabir, you mentioned like content is gonna be very crucial part of like
Yes.
DAOs, and so all like I could like so for example,
Branding.
there's sorry.
Yes. Please continue.
Yeah. Okay. I was saying like I could foresee so there are like projects based guild, like say research guild or uh design guild or metaverse guild, but also there are like content guild where it might not have like a direct implication on the revenue model, but also it's bringing no more projects or it's contributing to the brand awareness or like in general like educational awareness in the architecture or crypto community. So uh, how how do we have like a good system like which like feeds like all the incentive for this like various tasks people do, and also it has like a good cycle because like we are not like taking any investor money yet. Like there are few DAOs which
Yes.
have like investor money, so they can give like that money to the community and like survive for some time. But if they are not getting new projects, it's gonna be after 2 years it died. So
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. One thing I was thinking about, just coming back with the NFT, like telling what kind of skills you do have, and these would allow you to have a project first before someone else would get it. You would have the privilege to get this project. If we go this way, wouldn't we be like making people trying to keep the knowledge to themselves? Like, I have this skill, this skill's mine, so I won't share with you because I'm not saying that I would do, but maybe some people would. Like this, I have this skill, so I won't share it, and the kind of project only I will be able to
yeah, I see your point. Like it's gonna be developer competition, but like so what we are developing, like this is what's the point I raised. Like even if let's say you're a beginner and you're part of a like a project and you want to learn, let's say 3D modeling, or like you want to do physical digital research, and you might not be able to contribute, but your learning engagement throughout the project will earn you like some tokens or like reward, and maybe it's like a +1 upgrade on your skill from 4 to 5. But also at the end you're writing like an article, tutorial, or blog, so that learning itself is like a curated in a package where other people can benefit if they are joining at a later stage at the same beginner level.
Great. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Learn to earn model.
Your audio is lagging a bit. Can you repeat, please?
Okay. Hello.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you are saying, like learn to earn model, I guess.
Learn to earn, yeah.
Correct. And also like since like a decent amount of our DAO is doing like educational workshop, we could also have like, okay, if you're contributing and learning, maybe and if you are in the beginner or intermediate skills, if you contribute a decent amount and you have like 100 tokens, we might be able to negotiate with the workshop folks and give you like one scholarship access of that workshop we are doing with, and or maybe like discounted price or free seat. So like even the community are incentivized to produce more content, and also they are getting benefit at the end of free workshop access or free course access.
Yeah.
That was we need to find that the play to earn model for architecture and like brainstorm a bit. I was like thinking more active on like workshop model, like so there's like, okay, you can give workshop for free, but at particular time, like people's time is like dedicated in that project, but currently like there's no incentive, so we can do for short term, but for long term, like can the workshop model be like, okay, either you do free but like contribute either in assets which we can use in our metaverse projects, or if you do like paid, you don't need to contribute anything in terms of asset, or like what would be a win-win situation or a positive sum game for everyone. Like so even the workshop instructor should get some rewards or incentive at some point.
Sure. This is all first need to be clearly decided between you all, and also we have the challenge to make it clear for people who are joining, so they understand everything they can do and how they would benefit from it.
Yeah, and this is quite early in our DAO, so like your feedback is also shaping the whole DAO structure.
Yeah, because this kind of makes me think, like, I mean, just again, these ideas, but based on what we are talking. So, for example, we are developing this type of project. So yeah, like I think it should be nice, like figure out like what are the things that at the moment that like a DAO can offer to the people that get involved, but also like get some not expectations, but what happens when this actually grows. You know, what who's the team that you have to be like. For example, I'm doing a bit of everything, but I was checking the website now, right? So I see there's like a team there. So now it's really nice that there's a team there, but then what's the rest of the community of DAO in Discord for DAO actually? You know,
Yeah.
you see them as is it just a community? Is it part? If those are those people are members of DAO, or you know what I'm saying? Like some
Yeah,
clarity on those.
definitely. And like, so like we are like brainstorming on the governance and share it soon. So like even like in the community, like there are like roles upgrade, and like you go like contributor, senior contributor, and if you have tokens, you can stake it in the DAO, and it's kind of like getting shares of company. But also like the website like was just like initial like group who started it, and by no means like they represent the DAO. It's a community. So I need to check like how other DAOs mention like their team, because the reason we have that on the website is like if someone wants to collaborate with Akida, they need someone to go to as a point of contact. So maybe like that will change soon to from core group to like marketing lead, community lead, or something like it's that's
Yeah,
my
no,
point. Yeah.
no, yeah, like I mean, it's I mean, I understand for the states that we are at the moment, like, and you have like a complete you make total sense there where you actually go to a project. Like, it's nice to have a site that people can go and contact. That works. But yeah, I guess like it's about like just like you were saying, you know, like this thing is still like in work in progress. That it's evolving fast apparently. And yeah, definitely like I think well, between us, you, like whoever is DAO and whoever would represent it, just like you were saying, like it's important to get those points. I mean, I'm talking by my experience, for example, that I start like a group of architects as well.
Hmm.
Like at least for us, like we are more, well, or at least at the moment, we are more like a group of architects that we specify in provide consultancy to teams, right? But I know, like, at some moment I don't at the moment I don't work as a DAO, you know, because now that based on the conversations that we have had, like last couple of weeks, like DAO is more like a sort of open source community. I don't know if
Hmm.
and I know, for example, that my group is not an open source community at the moment, and I don't know if that I ever will be like in that group, like an open source. But the DAO, like here, I look at more this like this community of people that I don't know, like let's say that in the future this thing gets like 50 projects. So you
Hmm.
need a lot of people to have 50 projects being active. So how do you organize 50 people? You know, I see this kind of project a bit more like that. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Like that's kind of like the vision that I have at the moment for it.
Def- Definitely, I think that's a great feedback. Like, if I'm joining a new DAO, like I like the member should get an impression like how I foresee myself growing with this DAO, how I foresee myself like 1 month, 3 months from now, like what responsibility, what contribution level, what financial incentive. I think having that clear picture is very crucial. Like, and I have been in DAOs where like the DAO is great, like cutting edge, and there are like 10,000 members, and I like feel, oh, if I contribute, I'll be like very little tangible, and even 6 months from now, I might not be able to significantly make impact. So like having like those picture clearly out, like okay, what are the ways you can make an impact and grow with this DAO is important. Oh, and this ties like I think with this section, like what paths are right for me, or how to find good work, like vision for like on the path line. Cool. And I forgot to mention this, but like it ties back to the example I was just giving. Like we need like some personal support at sometimes, because like I know like if there are 100 Discord servers, like mentally it's a toil and it becomes overwhelming. And right now it's 150, and we can write personalized messages or something, and form like know a lot of people from our circles. But if there is a total new person who doesn't know anyone, who has like have different guilds and roles, how will they feel like it's a home and like a go-to environment? And I think as community engagement, as community leaders, we need to figure out that model. If there are like 2000 at some point, like how the new member is doesn't feel overwhelmed. Cool. Sharing exemplary work, build forward momentum, commit to operational excellence, instill learning mindset, and serve as an example contributor. So I think like we have like some of this core aspect already being developed. Like we have a good learning model and good projects which is like pushing us forward in the space. So yeah, it's good. And we might at some point do a discussion on like what are like current ways of operation, what are the ways we can improve. So currently like it's as like it's a community led initiatives. Like Kabir shared this idea, let's do a study group of network state. We all got interested and we started it. And um, there might be few other initiatives also being parallelly worked on. So this is the operational approach we have. Like what are other ways we can maybe combine some of the efforts? Let's say there are three initiatives related to metaverse. If three separate groups are meeting, it might be like four people each. But if we combine their vision and somehow, or like if in center, like there might be 12 people. So as a collective, they can share more knowledge and grow. So cool. Leadership activities. So this is what uh, gotta brainstorm a bit. Invest in community lore, commit publicly to the mission, and investigate community vibes and develop an accessible and inclusive narrative. So one thing, like from my personal experience, uh, kind of helped. So on Twitter, when I shared like a member of Akida on LinkedIn, like it get like a lot of people like entered into the Discord, and also like that public commitment to the mission and like the project really helps. So as and you might see a lot of crypto leaders are have like a part of DAO A, community leader of DAO B, and something like that. So having that in the profile is also like a good way to say you're really committed to the project. Investigate community vibes. So this is I wanted to know your thoughts, like wha- how we can do this.
Investigate community vibes. That's a good one.
think
Go
I
ahead, Kabir.
think through social channels we can do this. Like what people are saying, what people are talking in discords, and can learn.
Yeah, you know what is like one thing like. So I was following I am not art and a lot of gallery. So they do like weekly or like bi-weekly sessions of inviting artists, interviewing them. Even Gary V uh, started that. So if our focus is like getting architecture technology focused people into the metaverse, we might also start like an interview series of who are the NFT architecture background people, just to like understand and share the journey, and get a lot people inspired from how they got into the space and how they're doing. uh, Develop an accessible and inclusive narrative. So this is super important, and we definitely want to make like diverse community and equal opportunity for everyone. um this is a general feedback, like what are like ways you guys think we can add this aspect, or if it's uh, missing currently, any ideas about how we can do better?
I think it's still early. It just started in December, I think.
Yeah, like it's almost, yeah, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah.
If we can include in this accessibility people who have no idea what even a DAO is, that
Mm.
that would be a beginning, because that's definitely not accessible today. It's not accessible knowledge to everybody.
That's a really important point. Like people will say Archidao and DAO, like half of, if 80% of the architecture community doesn't get it, like the next thing
No.
we say, it's not gonna excite them. So should we prepare like a one article, or like 10 Instagram carousel? What is DAO? Step one.
Yeah, many
Yeah.
things, many contexts, very short and very clear and engaging to make them understand. My husband my husband is a crypto expert. He's been working with this for a few years now, and he said he was reading like 15 days ago that one day you might be working for a DAO, and he said,
Mhm.
and now 15 days after that you are already engaging in working with one.
Mhm.
It came so fast, so even for people who are in this, it's
Yeah.
still a bit hard to understand, right? Can you imagine for those who are completely outside, because there's a whole world of people who have no idea what can happen. Even if we don't talk about metaverse, there's a bunch of other opportunities that don't include metaverse in the ArcDAO especially, right? And this is a knowledge that is not accessible.
You know what I was thinking? Like, especially there are like few countries who are aware about this, few countries who are totally unaware about this. So how can
That's
we
not
get
a
like,
discussion in Brazil.
yeah, how can we get into, let's say, architecture college in Brazil, and maybe like give 1 hour presentation, what is DAO, what, how can architecture students benefit? Because a lot of the students are already producing 3D models, and we can easily translate that for metaverse, and like, but someone needs to
Yes.
create that bridge.
Yeah, that should be cool to
that
get inside the community, the actual already organized community of architects in at least some countries. Like in Brazil, we have the Architects Association, and if this they could share the information of what architecture studio could be in the form of a DAO, that would engage, that would develop the accessibility of the information. Sure.
And I know, Kabir, in India there's like NASA or other like architectural organization, and I'm
Yes.
assuming in Mexico there would be also one. So I'm in contact with American architecture organization, and hopefully like we'll have a presentation in one of their like meetups soon. But definitely like that is like a high impact situation where we are talking to 100 or a lot of architects at a time. So it's a, yeah, that's a duty of us to make them aware about this is the future.
Once we have a more ready material of
Mhm.
especially the tokenomics part, and
Mhm.
how we are going to deal with new projects and how people can earn from this would be ready to I can get in contact with people here in Brazil. I'm in straight contact with people from still from my college and universities here in Brazil. And if we share this in our community, we're probably going to be able to spread a lot.
Mm. And I'm gonna go to Samuel's podcast and talk about Akida.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, it's like anything can we can actually make a session about that because it's the podcast has reached about 3,000 listeners now. Like it's a good.
Oh,
I mean, Honestly, I don't know where's the people that is listening to it, but like I mean, I think it's a smooth project. So like probably people like if they get involved with this and we share it between us, like people can actually like start like knowing what's a DAO, why are we. I mean, it also like if I was an external from the podcast and I listen to the podcast and I see these people like or this guy that for example it's I would think like if I see myself through in another shoes from the outside, I will wonder like so why a person that already has a company wants to join also at so that will make me kind of like think, and then I will be like, okay, so there's something that happening, and then that people can actually jump in, because it's a bit maybe I think we are on the same here, like as well, Babi.
Yeah.
Like if Babi is in, why is Babi here? If she's from Brazil and probably she has already a business or like something going on, blah blah blah. Why she's in a DAO? Like what are we looking at the DAO? Like at least I think at the moment, at least us, we are looking that there's potential here. The thing is we are figuring it out, like how the potential of the DAO actually works out, which I think that's the tricky part. Because for example, that like these ideas of going to the universities and things like they're like amazing, but I think if we go without enough infrastructure to with a university, they will be like, so what is this? So it
What
will be
would
like
you do if like we give somehow a lecture in one university and next day we have 300 new community
Yeah.
members? What do we do with them, right? That's the
Yeah.
question. Do we need this now, or are we ready for this now?
Yeah, because for example, and another thing that actually happened to me, like, and it's happening in the recently in these days, is that I've been like, well, I still like playing more with Discord to see how many communities can I find out, like, to see what else is out there, and every time that I found like a community that is already super big, I'm not interested anymore. Like, I think for me, like one of the things that was nice in ArcDAO is that it has like a size of like I mean there's like 150 people in the community, but active, to be honest, is not like that much. And I'm not saying that I know the whole point of making this active is I mean of bringing more people is a key point for it. But I think also like the thing that got my attention, at least myself, is like that I still have like enough space to be part of actually a committee and not just be like the one more, like in committees that have like thousands and thousands.
It's a challenge to make to let a community grow while still giving space for everybody to actually join with this feeling, right? To being actual part of it, of something, not only being as outsider watching what's going on. It's hard, but it can be done. I don't know how, but we should at least make it.
But I think this raises a really good self-reflection. Like we have quality projects and we have like quality like members who are passionate. Maybe at this point, we might not benefit a lot from growing outside, but we might benefit a lot growing inside and like have quality infrastructure, better engagement systems in place. So whenever like these things explode after we finish few projects and there's like arts daily articles and people in like we have a really good onboarding experience and like people, I feel part of it, I can contribute from tomorrow in this metaverse project, like that feeling.
For sure. That would be a first before definitely advertising.
Yeah.
Kabir, you had some thoughts? Or?
I think I can try in my university telling about this.
Oh, okay. And I think like even if let's say we can't afford or like it's gonna be tricky for us to grow a lot of university members, what we can do is we can tie those university members to this educational workshop model we have. So even if they like it's like early Even they can't be part of ArchiDAO, they can learn what is metaverse, how to apply, and like pursue their career independently in that direction. Ultimately, like what I foresee is like we making impact in the architecture field in general. Either they can be a part of ArchiDAO and grow with us, or they can become an independent metaverse studio. Like we created that environment for learning and growing.
Yeah.
Cool. So moving on, like also like I don't know, like Kabir, I wanted to know your thoughts on this because I know like I see you in other Discord and like there's a GM and like this crypto slang, and I don't know how we can. I should we communicate start one in our DAO, or like how like if people are not aware, like how can we create slang or something?
Yeah, it's easy. Just we need to pick up. We need to create a pickup word. It's not necessary though.
Mhm.
It can be used. It will be cool.
Yeah, I think like starting with meme is a good point, and then more
Yes.
people got it. Connect one-on-one with members, create spaces for ideas, and stimulate cross-team communication. Oh, this last 2 points is gonna be quite challenging. So we have ideas dump, but also now like it's all over the place. So definitely some opportunity. Yeah.
Just about the item before, the question that you're making before, I also sometimes find necessary to have a glossary. Like, what are the words? What are those words that we keep saying in these meetings that I don't know what they mean? Instead of keep asking, it would be cool to have a glossary of this new vocabulary that are very inside this different environment. It should be cool.
Yeah, I think like that's also part of the accessibility that everyone knows what we are talking.
Yeah.
And
But
the,
for example, I did not even understand the question that you made for Kabir. So about what is WOGMI and GM, and I don't know what this is. And
okay,
maybe this could be something there also.
that's a good point. Yeah. You know what? Like, what if we have like a weekly newsletter where we say these are the meetings we had last week, one few sentence summary, and like some also like sharing one piece of new knowledge, like check out this model if you want to learn more about DAO or metaverse, this is a really good article, and like some crypto slangs if they want to like learn. So it's like a whole package where some people have work and other commitment and they can't actively engage in DAO, but they still want to know like how this is progressing. They can read our newsletter thoroughly and like learn.
Cool. Great.
Okay. Man, so much things to do.
So much to do.
We gotta automate something. That's another discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So proof of work. So GM
Oh,
is
that's
just basic.
Paul. Proof of work.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
And GM is just good morning. It's just like people in the crypto space have developed. People like since this is like global community. There's good morning at some point. Like so, people write on people. Everyone people say GM, and it's a way like
Now
okay,
it's Jim. Yeah.
yeah, another day to work on crypto work projects.
Cool.
Okay, so do useful work, build in public, abstract work into recipes, and create accessible and inclusive documentation. Whew. Uh, very good points. Documentation is definitely we need to get done pretty well.
Yeah, even building in public. Sometimes it's very hard to catch up with everything that's been done, right? So creating summarization of what has been learned is crucial. Even in the community of my startup, we use Google Workspace, and we have this long channels with very long discussions. And when we have a new member, we just say, go there and read everything you have done for the last year. But it's not the same thing. It's very time consuming and boring, and we lose people there. And now we have this kind of thing that we do, like every 2 months or something, we try to summarize everything and put the best content, and like okay, if you want to know about this, go into this bunch of documents and you're gonna get the best knowledge on this. We have a big mural with all the knowledge that we produce, and we try to organize it. So it's time consuming for us also too, and it's hard to get these really working, because sometimes we don't feel the benefit of doing this, but it's great when you have new members. And if we are thinking of having a big community, we should think of how to organize this knowledge, not just building public, and not just adding these recipes inside the channels, but how to organize it to make it clear what are the knowledge that has been produced and how to find it.
Sorry, Bobby, but how do you use you use this for which community, or for the students?
For I work in a startup for housing, in the housing market, and we develop a lot of knowledge regarding modularization and prefabrication, for example. And we have like one channel only to talk about these challenges of modular housing. And we keep adding stuff there, like LinkedIn posts, Instagram things, and everything you get is big mess. And this is we just pick up the best stuff once in a while and put this in Google Docs, for example, and we add it in a mural, and we put the string like this type of content you can find there, and just like rearranging things. But it's for it's for my company.
Okay.
I don't know if a mural board would be too much for a DAO, too confusing for a DAO.
You know, like what I've seen is like in Twitter, like they write like a 7-tweet summary of like main article, okay, like subtweets, and like it's getting more popular approach of sharing a lot of content. And if you want to know more, go to the link at the 8th tweet. So we can have like similar, like after the session or after discussion, like
big threads,
8
right?
minutes. Yeah, 8-point summary.
Great. That would be cool to have this from the beginning, like a concept of like a culture.
Yeah.
Boring but needy, necessary.
But it's so useful. Like people like curate a lot of good content in like, and it takes like 30 seconds or a minute to read, and I learned so much.
Yeah.
All right, so
there's also for the meetings, actually, for Zoom, there are these apps that do transcriptions and also create like I have Google Translate here in the background. Agenda. Okay, I've even forgot the word in Portuguese. But
I know Portuguese.
You know, but do you really? Or
I'm kidding.
I was starting.
I speak a bit, but I don't know what.
I'm trying to find the word for when a plugin does a transcript for the resumo da reunião. You know, like the bullet points of what was the most important part of the meeting. There are plugins that do this.
Good. Highlights, key points of the meeting.
Yeah, I read about a plugin that does that with AI, something like this. I'm not sure if this really exists, if you heard something about it, but there are, for sure, there are these plugins that do the transcript of everything that's been said. But maybe we could also search for something like this to
Yeah,
automate at least the meetings instead
that
of
goes
people
to
going through all the video. They
that
could
goes
go
to
for the task.
operational excellence.
Yeah, Control F in this document and find the word that you are looking for, and just instead of watching the whole video, it's gonna be very boring to see my face the whole time.
But
Sorry, guys.
you know what, like that's a really important point. Like if like some people who are joining, let's say, late to network study group, and they might not have time to watch all the 7 videos we have on YouTube. So if there is like a either in newsletter or like a blog article where, okay, session 2 summary points, we and that this is content which we can use on multiple platform, either like on our own website, on like a newsletter website, on Twitter, or if we make reels, that also like 1 minute reel of packaging it, like it can go. Our community of architecture technology, I think like is more active on like maybe Instagram, TikTok, or like
Yeah.
Twitter is more for like crypto works, and like it's getting better, or LinkedIn. Like those 2 platform can, like, it's a good target market for like people in our community.
Yes, and also sharing the knowledge in a very small bite of it.
Bullet.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to really get through people and like break this initial barrier. If you say, oh, we have this much knowledge, but you have to watch this bunch of videos, like hours of videos, some people are gonna stay behind for sure, just because we don't have time to consume all this information. In our we actually want them to learn, right? We really do. So we have to find a way to get through it.
Yeah, maybe we can start, you know what, so I'm writing some bullet points. We can take turns in each session, like one person write like bullet points summary. Like I know it's a bit of work, but like if we are taking turns, it's once in
Yeah,
5 session. Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
flippable.
maybe, or maybe like before we end up a meeting, we can just at least for now, while we figure out like which plugin, because that's great as well. But what if we just dedicate like 5 or 10 minutes for at the end of the meeting just to decide like, okay, so these are the key points that we talked today, like between all like the participants, and just put like a quick list there, and okay, this is the list, like we talked this, we can share that those key points or keynotes in the like with the video. Maybe that's more that actually helps a lot more. Just totally agree with Barbara, like if you wanna, if you enter to a, I mean, even myself, if I enter to a video that it's like 2 hours long and I have to listen to the 2 hours, like I don't do it. Like I
Yeah.
know I don't do it. Like so if we wanna make people to go for it, yeah, it's essential that we go fast for it.
Yeah, I think that's very smart and productive. Let's do like a 5-10 minute summary discussion. So even the meeting minutes person like is focusing on discussion and contribution and not writing notes. So like we can do. Let's start it from this session itself. Cool. Hi Palak. Uh, so we
Hi
were
guys.
just to give you a very quick overview. So we started with like this DAO leadership and operation model, and we discussed like how it's different for a leader, what's the new responsibility of DAO leaders, and how they are shaping the network of DAO network, and like what are the 3 core pillars of digital leadership. And we were discussing things, and it became very interesting because like it was very uh, good brainstorming session on how we can implement this in our DAO. What are the things missing? How can we improve the orientation, onboarding experience? So a lot of really good ideas we discuss, and we will implement as we go further.
Yeah, sure. I really liked your idea of the newsletter, monthly, or I don't know how, but yeah, it would be really nice.
Yeah, and we said like I think Barbara or Samuel like pointed out like like there is a point of like digital like accessibility, and a lot of people, let's say they are joining Akida, or like they want to be, and we are saying DAO, but they don't know what DAO is. So can we have like a 7 bullet point summary or Instagram carousel post or reel, which is like very easy overview of people from analogy and understanding of what is DAO is. And let's say this, we are having this 2 hours of a network state study session, and Samuel correctly pointed out that one might not be able to watch the whole. So what we can do is like write like a short summary, share it on Twitter and LinkedIn, and if people are more interested to know more, like embed the video link, so they are getting like a good uh, valuable summary, and that's like a content value package we are providing. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so oh yeah, this is a really good mobilization formula which I wanted to discuss. Uh, yeah, so I have abstracted this from the main article, so here is you might not get the bigger context. So it's giving an example about like what is managerial leverage, and like the ability to for a person to move resources, capital and talent to a specific business priority with the least amount of effort possible. So it's same like people are joining the community, or there are people, and the leverage would be, we have a new metaverse project starting tomorrow. How can I mobilize the DAO capital and talent with the least effort? Like, is one tweet of @everyone, let's join this call, let's join this project. Like, how many people who will turn out in the meeting is our mobilization uh, metric. So this is what they're talking about. Community mobilization strengths. So catalyzing the network. So community reach to influence. Like, even though like 10 people, let's say, turn out in that community meeting, how many people will eventually join the meeting, or how much contribution it leaves? Like, there's some like influence factor over there. The ability to have, oh okay, sorry, the influence factor which I mentioned is not the actual definition. I recall it now. The influence is like the ability to have members n plus one nodes away to perform an activity of complexity while given time constraint x. So what I'm imagining is n plus one nodes away is like, I let's say I tweeted in Akida, my n node network is, let's say, you five guys joining this call, and your network of your network of node which I am not directly in connect to, and if they're joining in next future meeting, is that another node of contribution. So next meeting, if you're bringing your friends and it becomes 5 to 10, like maybe the influence factor is 2 or something. And I could foresee in LinkedIn, like second connection, first connection, and stuff. So it's like one another node away from your current network. That is what I'm envisioning here. All right, amount of contributors given time constraint. In other words, as reach and influence increases, a DAO's leaders' momentum compounds. How do leaders achieve this network development? So this is like important nuggets for us. Advocating for the mission one-on-one, developing. I think, and this also like Archidao is at a stage where we all can like divide and conquer, and maybe like all connect to 5 to 10 members in person and like form the relationship. So we are at a stage where we can implement most of these ideas tomorrow. Developing one-on-one long-term relationship, scaling influence to consistent writing and content. uh, I had a different perception about like content value before like Kabir started pointing out like the big impact we can make through just like good content. Removing barriers to communication and action. This is a new like embodying a network mindset and the values of the group. So even like I'm not totally aware about like what are they implying here. What is a network mindset? So maybe I'll try to read this article. Any thoughts, you guys? Like, what is a network mindset? No, maybe we can look at later and discuss in next session. So nurturing others to increase their mobilization aspect, and that's where like it all connects back to the point earlier. The community leaders or a DAO leader's job is to curate another community, like community leader, and like give them the power and like responsibilities to flourish and prosper. So that's why it's like a self-reinforcing cycle. So
Yeah. The only thing that I believe about having this network mindset is actually kind of getting used to collaborate like this. You know, trying to understand that. For example, like I will ask myself like again, if I didn't know you guys at all, like what makes me trust like in Babi, Mayu, Paula, Javier, that I know that probably, I mean, based on the real facts of life and circumstances, probably we're never going to engage like one-on-one, like in real life. So how do we build like a? I mean, what are we building? You know, like we know we are building a DAO, but it's completely digital. So that's one key point of this, right? That we normally in an office or with teams that I have formed, like most of the teams that I have formed, it's because I know people like actually face to face, and then based on that, like I still like moving around. In the outside, or like at least in these networks, like it's completely the opposite. Like you don't know people from like one-on-one interaction. So how do you know them only from web? So what is a how do you embrace this? I think the circumstances how to promote this type of connection.
Yeah, it seems like this new book from David talks about once you reach this network mindset, you don't go back. Once you actually get engaged with this decentralizing commitment, and it becomes a reality for you and for everybody that's working in this, and makes everything improve faster.
so like a shift in mindset, like okay, it's a top-down hierarchy structure to network decentralized distributed structure of collaborating. Okay. Makes sense. This might be killer feature of DAO intent leadership. There's incentive for mutual growth. I think like that's the best part. Like everyone is growing. Like this network study state lesson. Like I am learning so much from you guys, and like this thoughts and collaborative process. So and we are mutually sharing knowledge. That's the network mindset model. I don't know. Uh, yeah. So I think what else? I so this was like from one of the tweet. I extracted this, and we can go through this quickly. It asks like very good questions, and I think it's also opens up our mindset. So leadership in digital organization require a different mix of skill sets due to asynchronous and frag nature of work, digital first interactions, high risk, high reward opportunity, ecosystem ambiguity, and organizational treasury ownership dynamics. Digital native leaders will need to answer these questions first. How do you increase or decreasing momentum when members have fragmented commitments? Ooh. Like, yeah, that's one of the point where we are discussing. Like, if we are committed to the project and we get new members who show interest, and if they leave midway, like that fragment, like how do you handle that? How do you even deliver on time? How do you inspire, motivate, nudge formation of teams without in-person communication? This totally reflected the Samuel's point earlier. Uh, What role do you play when embracing product and organization emergence instead of structured predefinition? And this connects to our like the starting point of this whole article discussion that it's like it's an unknown domain. We are figuring it out, and it's we are, as you can see from this discussion, like a lot of DAO things we are figuring it out. So we how do you, like, some people prefer like organized structured approach, and some people are like, let's say, like if there is a gradient of entrepreneurial or structured jobs, like how do we make it comfortable for everyone in this gradient? Like some people would like, oh, I don't want like new project coming tomorrow and like it's very undecisive. I want like give me 2 hours of commitment every week and that's all I want. I have an very structured, and so kind of things we need to discuss. How do you campaign across a large fragmented participatory community? Ooh, the strong thing, campaign. Do you guys want to have like share thoughts on these 4 questions?
Yeah, I think I mean, like, I will mix the how do you campaign across fragmented, and I will mix it with the how do you inspire, motivate. I think those can be together, like the questions, because I guess like once you motivate people to be part of a DAO, like at least for this type of communities that are fully like digital, like I think it's the only way to campaign. You know, like it's really difficult to. I mean, it's not a Twitter community exactly. It's not an Instagram community, because at the end of the day, DAO so far it tends to have a project, or like to build things, no matter what. It can be like, I mean, right now it's architecture, but like we can be talking about a DAO that is about music, a DAO that is about digital art, and blah blah blah. But I think the main way to campaign a community like this is actually to motivate and inspire people to be on the community, keep them focused, keep them, and also feed people. You know, like keep them. Just like we were saying that, no, what do we give to the community that okay, we give them knowledge, okay, but what else can we give them that is unique of ArcDAO, for example, that there's nothing else that you can find here. I think that will be also like a nice thing to get, you know. I don't know what is the unique thing, but
Yeah.
but
And just to give you like a some background, like so we have like this project first approach. Like we get a project, we get like a bunch of passionate people, you combine and do innovative things. But there will be times where like there is like people who are having an interest in metaverse, and we don't have, let's say, a metaverse project, let's say starting 2 weeks from now. How do you continuously engage those community members? Like if there is like a stop point, like people might not check our Discord daily or after 2 weeks. So this continuous engagement is like is is a model we still need to figure it out. Yeah. Fortunately, we have like this content sessions, like weekly network state or weekly community calls, or like knowledge sharing, which is like kind of engaging the community and inspiring them to learn more or contribute.
yeah.
Bobby, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was thinking if we were a regular company, we would still have, everybody would still have the challenge to inspire. To inspire is a challenge always when you come to a group of people, when you try to have a common goal and make people work in the best way they can. And when we add this new perspective of having like ups and downs, like demands changing, it's going to be even harder. But one thing I was thinking is that maybe we could try to get some inspiration of some company philosophies. I can bring for us, if in a moment, if it's possible, a philosophy for the first company that I worked on, which started from this perspective that everybody owes a challenge, and this by itself make them feel like they're a part of it and engage much better than any other company that I've worked on after that. It's completely different. The feeling of being a part of this organization that was built in the top of this vibrant ecosystem. Like it was actually, everybody thought, it's funny to come back to that now, because it was a network mindset, even though it was written like 80 years ago from a guy in the middle of Brazil. He wrote this 3 books and started a company after that, and it's a big company and until nowadays, a construction company, and it's based on everybody owes its challenge, and because of that he can decide on what's going to happen that and how he's going to grow through the challenge, through the task. And this way of dividing the actual ownership of stuff, that's what makes people feel like they really belong and give them this feeling of okay, and now I'm actually a part of it. So
yeah, like a good purpose.
Yeah, they give them this sense of purpose. So maybe if everybody that would join, or not everybody, but maybe somehow when people join, they would owe something, like now you are part of this like this, and how can you contribute? Now you owe this. Like when we were doing the NFT, I did not feel like I owned the design part, of course, because it's completely different challenge. But just for an example, if there was a team that would owe the challenge, okay, now you 5 like clearly have this descriptive task, you owe this task, it's clear for everybody, you are the ones that are going to present, take it, it's your son, you're going to take care of it.
Okay.
Even though it's not a project, or at least if it's some part of the ecosystem of the DAO, making people owe some challenge, some part to solve, would make them engage, maybe, instead of just creating content and running after them with content and more content.
Yeah. So like, just to like get it right. So for example, if we were to do this right, like for example, Bobby as, let's say, design lead, and it's under your scope, like for maybe create NFT design or something like, so you have like a clear challenge and clear scope. And also like indirectly what I was getting, like it's like kind of creates accountability also for people, like
that's
to give up.
the word. Yeah, even if it's not related to a project, if it could be related to something that we are discussing here, like there are many stuff we don't know, and if people get this as a challenge, once they if they could receive a challenge like in a group, okay, which group would you like to join, instead of just I'm here and I can engage if I want or not. Okay, now you're here, what group would you like to join, what task would you like to take for yourself?
You know what, this is gonna be like quite, we could create like, let's say we have like different guilds, like design, research, net. We can create like a quest when a member joins, like complete a quest, either go to a network state group or like whatever group you like, watch one of the session, write a summary, or like engage it in somehow, you get 10 points or like 10 governments, and that unlocks like different thing. And people like, okay, it's gamified version, that they're part of a group, they also.
Yeah, that's nice. Give people something to do. It's nice. It's a path to follow, at least, instead of just hanging around. It's cool.
Yeah, and I guess depends on also like a I like this thing that we were talking at the beginning, that about like getting tokens or something by being part of it. So maybe that can be like a mix. Like, okay, so we give you like this sense of an accountability of doing something, but we also subdivide it by amount of responsibility or amount of difficulty, because we know the tasks will take time for anyone that wants to join. So it's not, it has to be something that, okay, you want to be part of it, but it's not actually a task, right?
Yep,
It doesn't feel like you're being forced to do something that you know, will take time, it will consume, and you don't get nothing. It has to be like something that you know, like it's more like a playful thing that
Yeah.
okay, welcome to our community, join this game and receive this. You know, I think if we put it like that, somehow we will make more people to actually want to be part of this. And then, you know, like in music, you have like this thing that is called like a hook, right? And then, I don't know if I say that before here, but like this, I like this because it's like this small sound that is really particular for a song that is the thing that actually makes you listen to the whole song. You know, like it's a hook. Like that's a
Like hook.
yeah. That's the reason they call it a hook, because it's the thing that actually makes you want to stay in the track. So what if we figure out like something like that for the like this type of activity for ArchDAO? Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I can do this small thing that will take 5 minutes, but then this is only the first thing, because after that I will go for the one that takes 10, and then I don't know, an hour, and then I'm just full-time DAO.
And I'm wondering, like, for example, it could be like the hook could be, okay, watch only, just saying it out, like watch 2 minutes or 5 minutes of the video. And since it's a very good and interesting part, it will hook them up and they might watch the full video. Or like not creating like a laborious task, but like also adventurous task. Okay, maybe watch some 10 Arkadao reels and it's like, oh, it's fun watching this and I'm learning it, and maybe create some quest, or it unlocks an NFT membership or something.
Yeah, because for example, like we can. What if instead of just having the study groups, because right now we are figuring out the whole thing on the DAO together. But what if in 1 month we decide that, okay, guys, let's do a presentation of like a video presentation that we can put on YouTube or whatever, or wherever, about what is this DAO, and then we make a video, we shoot some top, well, the key points, whatever, but we do a video for people to understand what's our DAO in 5 minutes, and that's a video that people has to watch, you know, or something like that. Or a nice summary, like a nice mirror. Look, go enjoy the mirror. I don't know. But I do agree on the. Go.
I was thinking that all of this is it's very cool for the beginning, but how to keep people engaging even after that? In the beginning, they might all be kind of warm up,
Curious, excited. Yeah.
to see and to get the basic, but how to make it really a participatory community more with a good frequency. And anyway, I don't know, it's a challenge.
It's a $1 million question. Like if someone figures out long-term engagement in DAO, like
yes. Yeah, but I kind of have the feeling that comes through, it passes through the owning something. Being a part doesn't mean only being inside the Discord group. You have to own something that people need, so you actually feel like you are necessary. So you are a part.
You know, so like, sorry to cut you off, Sam. Like, so like I'm like I was wondering from like if I join, like owning something, like if I'm in a company, like I am obliged, like, okay, I need to pay for my house and bills and I need to do, like, so how can we create like win-win situation? Like if we just say, oh, okay, Samuel, do this design task when you join, and maybe like some people find it interesting, some people say, I haven't even learned or contributed, and these guys are already giving me task or something. Like it could be on a tricky line, but I'm also thinking like people love working on their own initiatives and own ideas. So what
Yeah.
if we give like a list of 10 initiatives? Okay, we are people who are interested in content or newsletter. Like we have opportunities to write like a summary article and like direct that into like some guilds or quest or something.
Yeah, we have a long list of things to do. And of course,
Yeah.
everything could be curated and organized after if there's something that doesn't fit the needs. But we could definitely split the work
Yep.
more clearly. And it doesn't need to be in the first session, right? Like
Mm.
once you participate, join a little, and then you can unlock the list of tasks to do, even though
Yep.
they're not gonna give back any tokens and stuff. We are as architects, we like to create, right? We like to be part. I don't know if it's I kind of feel it's something about our profession. At least in architects, you're gonna find a lot of people wanting to actually put their hands on it.
Yep. Maybe like we create like a user map. So there is like one young, like not young, like one excited user where you don't even need to feed. They will like just explore all the channels and figure it out, their place in the DAO. One is like one who needs like some guidance or like a proactive approach to navigate them in the DAO journey, and one is
Mhm.
like, let me just see and watch. I don't want to contribute at this moment, but maybe 6 months later I will. Like, so having like different user based like would help us.
Yeah. Even from it could be something we could ask.
Hmm.
Are you more right? I'm not sure if that's what we were thinking, but if we would ask, what do you want to do? Do you want to watch and see? Do you want to jump in, or you find yourself your own way, or do you want some guidance? That could be helpful. Everything seems to be around this
Yeah.
welcoming, big onboarding stuff, right?
It's the big problem of DAO, like big challenge, not problem, big challenge. Creating good onboarding experience, like make or break. Like if I want like the community to grow exponentially, and as Samuel was mentioning, if there are 20,000 members in the DAO and it's overwhelming, like people will leave like after 5 minutes. But if there is like, oh, you are there and there's like one-on-one schedule call, people say, okay, it's 15 minutes. Let me just talk to and no. And that where like you create a great impression in the call, help them navigate, help them learn and connect
Yeah.
to current
and not,
projects.
and this is going to be very, very important, even for not only for the community, but for the actual work we might be hired to do. This is a problem for every, maybe I'm not sure every, but I might say almost all architecture studios. Sometimes they are very good at receiving more work, but not so good on making bigger teams work in the same
Correct.
way as the initial teams, right?
Yeah.
In all comes to a good onboarding and good members that will distribute things and pass on the philosophy and strategies. So it's something we have to take care very closely now, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's a good
No,
moment.
and I think like also it will depend on, okay, so what are the type of projects like ArcDAO actually develop? I think we should like have a more like clear idea of what is acceptable. I mean, I don't see ArchDAO as a constructor company, right?
Mhm.
So okay, so that's not our path. So what is actually our path? What's the path of our DAO to that will make people and us and actually us to help guide the new people that is coming, because okay, yes, we're digital, so probably it has to be with 3D modeling, has to be with metaverse, has to be with maybe some ML, AI, I don't know, but I think we need to be really real consistent on that direction, like where
Yeah.
are we
Like
heading
scope.
us. Yeah, the scope exactly. We need to get like a clear scope of, so that way to the new members we can provide them on that scope. Otherwise it's just like, okay, a group of architects in the metaverse, okay, but the
Mhm.
metaverse is also huge.
Yeah, our scope is already huge, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
tough.
That's a really good feedback. Kabir, I saw you unmuted a mic a while back. You wanted to add something?
Yeah, I think that we are talking about a very crucial part for the ArchiDAO, and I think there are some platforms like Coinwise that help with creating a day-to-one quest model that Mayur is talking about,
Mhm.
and we need to create this quest model and ownership to hook people, because there are lots of people that will just enter the Discord server and will not show up.
Yeah. Maybe like we organize a separate session to brainstorm on the quest and ownership model. Like I think like ownership is like indirectly like the Bobby's point of like challenge and owning some part of it. So
It's different
I,
than owning a actual part of the DAO, right? And not
yeah, like
not
owning
talking.
some aspect or responsibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, let's do brainstorming, because like onboarding and quest is like we are doing network studies now, and if we don't tackle the problem of onboarding, like it's like the foundation of like getting the network to grow big. So you gotta have that strong foundation.
Mayur, I need to leave now because this was really great session. Nice to meet everyone. So, bye.
Nice to meet
Bye.
you,
Thanks for
Kabir. Thanks.
joining.
Bye, Kabir.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Right. I think yeah, we're almost done. We'll wrap up this session soon. So the last two questions is, how do you prevent members apathy? How do you coordinate action across owners, not employees? Directly points out to the points which we were discussing, like DAO members are not employees, they're owners of some aspects. So how do we put out like a clear message of them? Like, you're equally owning something in this DAO company. You are not like employee. It's a decentralized horizontal structure.
Yeah, I think like probably not in this study group, but in the next ones that are coming, once we figure out what do we earn, uh, in I think there's different types of win-win situations, right? So it will be nice to have to structure those win-win situations, because there's like a win-win of knowledge, but at some point they are doubt to, like any other organization like this, well, actually makes things from this, right? So like, okay, so what are what's the earning in terms of maybe economic, what is the earning in terms of access to maybe some stuff, like we have to structure that so we can actually know and make a system of providing people like this win-win situation. What is the win that you have against this? And okay, if you own like a project and you join Babi's team and you are with her for, I don't know, 2 months doing the project, like then you win this, right?
Yeah.
So having like this kind of thing like properly mapped will be great. So once, imagine like, I don't know, let's talk like 2 years from now, like I access our DAO in 2 years, we already have like a more like clear structure, and I enter, and I found that I can get like not a job, but being part of a project without having to be like in a without interviews, without proving lots of knowledge, which normally a company or traditional companies, they ask you for all these things. But
Yep.
like, what if our DAO actually there's like a kid of 15 years old that has like a lot of talent for designing, and then he comes, he has like the task that, just like Bobby was saying, like, what if he owns the project of design and he owns this part. Okay, so he owns that, the whatever he can owns in 2 years, but he's just 15, right? And he doesn't have a degree, he doesn't have anything, but he's just like a gig for designing. So having some sort of structure that allows people to understand it like really fast, that I think will be nice, because you're not an employee, you are being part of a project. So if you are not an employee, I think you shouldn't be requested with degree, you shouldn't be requested with all these things, right? If you're just want to be a part of something. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think like that's a very strong point, and like this is also where like the world is moving. Like people like in Google or like a lot of companies, they don't require a bachelor's degree. Like if you pass like technical interviews, if you prove you're capable of doing a task, like that's all it matters. So if you're like, if we need to figure out, like we don't need like a traditional resume, or but if we give a challenge and you're able to do that 3D modeling in metaverse, like you proved, and we can allocate more tasks, and that's all. Like
Yeah, but one thing also from a different perspective, how to coordinate action across owners in a small task or in a subtask. I was reading something a few days ago, like DAOs should stop voting everything because it can be very time consuming and very unproductive. Where is the line where people should stop voting for everything and just doing some stuff like in a more organized way, because in the end of the day you're gonna have to design things, probably, mostly, maybe, or code something and
do actual work.
do actual work instead of always keep questioning ourselves. Okay, is this good enough, or should I go a step back? Is this what's going to be the end of this, or should we still vote on this? The whole community should vote on something. Maybe that would be a magic number for this. Like once we get in some level of definition, like most of 3 people should vote on this stuff. Like, okay, now it comes on a bit in the sense of what I was telling before, like you owe the challenge. Now this group of people owe the challenge, and in the end of the day, this bigger group owes the challenge to vote if it's good, not good, even though it could be like randomly decided who would. Let's say, like giving the practical example of the design that we were doing today for the NFT, like let's say me and Palak, we were both trying to put our hands on it and solving and arranging things, and we would have like a bigger group with you, Richa, and Daniel. We would, as 5, would vote if it would be approved or not in the end, something like this. Not like in a hierarchical way, but maybe not open for everybody. I'm not sure if it's DAO enough or not, but I'm here thinking of way of how to get it done. Is it ready if everybody did not vote for it? Is it DAO approved if not everybody said, okay, I approve? You know,
that's a good point. Maybe like that's where like your point of drawing a line, like so like maybe like there might be small decisions, like okay, changing the color of the logo. Like we don't need the whole DAO. Like it's a low risk, low impact job. Like maybe like changing the design like is a high risk, high like impact job. Like maybe for those we are taking community voting, and for small decisions there's small group which is doing voting and deciding and making decisions in 5 minutes and move on. Like we don't need to wait for a long time.
Yeah, it's where is this line, and how is there a way to see it clearly? Like, I don't know if it is, but that could be a way, like a magical number.
Okay, I'm writing Bobby will draw a line and will help us visualize.
Good. Yeah, that's this line.
We're gonna start doing elections for DAOs now.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
actually there are like people do delegate, like for example, yeah, I think this is where like the line part. So for example, if there are 100 members and 100 member is like, I have work jobs, I can't do voting every day, they choose like a delegate. Okay,
You
this
can
30 group
delegate for
members.
someone else.
Mhm.
Sure,
Yeah,
I've seen this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do agree that, like, and I think that's probably something that, well, I think is related to what we were talking last week about the organizations of the DAO, and when we were talking about how social structures work. At the end of the day, we kind of need leaders and some presidents to take like the big calls, like on this kind of stuff, like where is the line? I think in the digital, it's maybe more, it's not exactly as a president, but I do agree that that's something that it's going to be quite difficult to always just put away and just leave like thousands of people to say yes, no for everything, right? Because imagine like I don't know, even if we have a big Zoom, when you have like 60 participants or something like that, it's really complex to have like a conversation with all of them, like, or any social structure, right? So I think
Yeah.
I do agree.
Sorry.
Go.
I thought you were finished. I'm sorry. Go.
No, just one last thing. I was thinking, like,
Sure.
what if the amount of time that you spend on a project is what gives you access to actually decide something or something? Like if you
uh,
invest, I don't know, to be there for like 3 months working already on a project in the DAO, then probably, and you've been like actually working on it, not just joining in everything, like, then you get some sort of like a position in that. So you never had actually like only one board of members on the top, but like the board is kind of like constantly changing depending on who comes, who goes, who remains, who works, blah blah, things like that.
yeah, actually, just to respond on that point, like we were like discussing earlier, like in the morning, like maybe like we have like a one responsible like project champion for each of the project, and let's say the project champion knows like what members contributed, like what who attend the meeting, who actually ended, and that gives at the end of one project, that gives the project champion, right, okay, you can give 5 community voting rights to your project members, and then like people had like sweat equity, like they work for a month or a couple of months to earn that, and like, okay, now you can vote on major decisions too or something.
Yeah, it sounds good. You were going to say something, right, Bobby? Sorry.
Yeah, one day, but I forgot. Sorry.
No,
I
I'm
remember
sorry.
it. No. Sure. I forgot 2 things. One thing before and another thing about this. But it's okay. I'll come back. So
Next time you have a point, just write it on Zoom chat so we can help
here
you
is my
remind.
response.
Yeah.
I'll do.
Now, this thing about the champion, I mean, it does make sense. Like, I totally agree that it's impossible to have like a full open system. I think it's not even healthy in any social structures to just be like that. So I think the advantage of the network is that, like, you can constantly change it fast as long as you have some sort of structure and who does what, who has the control. Not, well, this project champion sounds good, but like, what if there's like 3 project champions? Or like, at least there's gotta be like, because imagine if, I don't know, just to get to both, yeah, that's the chat.
Sorry, that's for me to remember.
Yeah, what if we imagine in the crypto barista, right? That we start like being 5 and then grows to be 20. Okay, and then it grows to be 50, but then the first members, for some reason, like the ones that start the project, maybe have to leave or something like that, or they have to delegate someone to have less responsibility because, I don't know, something happened, blah blah blah. So how do we restructure there? Like, who covers who? How can we move the structure fast in case because we are talking about digital things, and digital things tend to break fast if you don't, because it's just their nature, you know. Sometimes and break fast in terms of that they change really fast, not that they stop existing, but if they change, we need to have a structure that allows you to really adapt like super fast and keep going without losing sense of purpose, without losing sense of belonging, without losing sense of all this stuff.
Should we try to have a? I'm sorry, were you going to say? Mayo, you can go.
No, like I'll let you go first. Like you have a
Please, I
lot of
forget.
interesting. You're exploding with ideas, and I don't want to like interrupt that.
Okay, you're not gonna forget, and I am. Okay, thanks. First thing I was thinking was a vote strength, like a member who has more skills or who has participated in more projects. Once he votes, he could vote like 5 times strength of someone that's like a newbie. And the other thing was about this, like when you get an Uber, when you call it Uber, and if he dumps you in the middle, or if he doesn't finish the race, or he cancel, he kind of lose points and lose priority to get a new one. And I know it's different, but if I don't know if you know, but there is that those platforms that you like everybody draw at least starting design, and you just send for the customer, for the client, and then he decides to rank the first 3 and split the reward in the first 3. Have you seen the Archibazar, something like this? Have you seen this platform? Nope. Okay, it's like everybody works for free, and the client has this Archi. I think it's Arc without an H. Yeah, the third one. Yeah. Everybody, it's like competition. Yeah, that's it. The client decides the amount of money he wants to pay, and you just do a design if you want. You participate, you just join, and you deliver the actual design. And after that, the client votes, ranks the 3 tops, and he receives the complete documentation for the first one only, and only the 3 first receive some kind of reward, and the rest of doesn't receive. But the point of it is that if you join a competition and you leave, you kind of lose some points for getting for like being in a better position to join a different project. That's what I was thinking. If we, like in Crypto Barista, we decide like 10 of us decide to join, and in the middle like 5 dump, these 5 would like go into the bottom of the list to get to be able to join anyone. That was something possible.
I think like that's a very important point, and like I'm trying to find like Crypto Barista is like is a project where we can experiment a lot of like new DAO techniques and like let it go.
That's the third thing I was thinking. Should we try to create and like simulate 1 or 2 ways to coordinate this work in between us, now that we are very few and everybody's very engaged with this? Like, could we try to go, not just design stuff, because that's more or less what I thought we would do. Could we do it like properly, experimenting?
Why not, Bobby? Why not?
Yeah, I think that's a good moment to do it, right?
Yeah.
I think that we can definitely do that, and I totally agree on doing something like that. But first, we need to decide how we're gonna approach the project between us. You know, who's doing what, and then after, like, or who will be responsible of what, because that way we can map it. Because let's say that right now, okay, with this like 6-7 of us in the Crypto Barista, right? So, okay, who's going to be in charge of A, B, who's on B, who's on C, blah, blah, blah. So then we can actually do an open call for people to start joining. And we can have like some sort of like a structure at least for this first experimental. Because if we don't have even like clear idea of who's doing what and we all try to jump in, then I think it can be overwhelming between us. Only between, if we all accept the 70 people and we all want to have like full control of each part,
Yeah. Sorry to like
Go,
that's
go.
so in the project brief call, like that was one of my intent. So I briefly talk about like different guilds of research guild, physical guild. So I was hoping like people who are interested like will claim ownership of one of the guild and join, and like coming back to Samuel's point, like people know like what they're interested, what the scope is like they're responsible of, and like we trust them. Okay, it's your domain, you will provide the whole flexibility, you figure out with other contributors, something like that.
Yeah, I think that my idea, what I was trying to say, Samuel, was more one level up before that. Even if we decide what each one of us would do and receive more members or not for this project, I was thinking, how are we going to decide on everything we do together? What is the strategy for this collaborative design in between us? Because I definitely don't know how a DAO design. I don't know how to organize this work in between us. I have no idea.
Yeah, so one thing, like since we were discussing about Arc Bazaar, and like this, like Crypto Barista is a short-term project where we can a lot of like test out new project mechanism and time tracking, and also like the dashboard would be important. Like we keep track of all members who contributed, who who joined but didn't contribute, like active, inactive status. But like maybe like we can find a better tool. But like this was a one good to like coordinate, which a lot of DAOs are using. So for example, like I'm part of this DAO, and it says like weekly you need to just like vote that okay, uh, you contributed or you didn't, and I can say okay, let's say this person contributed something, and like I want to give, so everyone is allocated 100 give tokens, and like I can say give 50 give tokens to that and stuff like that. So every week, like the everyone has starts with similar give tokens, and it redistributes organically in a manner like based on the task people delivered. And like this is a new model, but like what's stopping us to experiment for a few weeks and if it's working out or not? I just need like wallet address so I can create like a crypto barista circle and we can just start.
Cool. Okay, that's
Yeah.
something. That's one way.
Yeah, but now that you going back to what you were saying, Bobby, now I'm thinking like you are talking more about like organize between us before organize with the rest.
Yeah, and organizing any level, even if it's only us, it's gonna be a challenge. Let's say we stop at 7 and at us like 5, 6, 7, I don't know. It's gonna be a challenge, right? How are we going to split this work and understand and evaluate it and say, okay, this task is done, let's go to the next. It's a challenge, right?
No, yeah, and totally like
without an hierarchical organization. If we would say, okay, whatever Meyer says done is done, it would be easier, much easier. But I'm not sure if that's
not collaborative. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, probably that's not what we want. And how will we vote on everything? Like every line is going to be voted? No, not. It's also not productive.
no,
That's the question.
Yeah, there is some. I guess that we have to define what are the roles of being a community as a DAO, but we still need to keep in mind the roles of a project. Like there's gotta be someone that is doing coordination. There's gotta be someone that is in charge of the, I don't know, of the BIM management, someone of design, blah blah blah. So I think those are two split structures. One is like the community structure.
Project specific roles, and there is like
Yeah,
DAO specific role. Yeah.
yeah, because
So we
the
don't
project's
need
still a project,
to
right?
mimic, yeah, we don't need to mimic a DAO inside each
The
project.
project.
We
Correct.
can
Yeah,
organize. Okay, all right. Yeah, it makes sense because in the real life project, we have to
Yeah.
be productive, right?
And there are some things which work well in like a centralized manner. So there is like degree of centralization and decent. Like if I
So
have a
that's
BIM
the
manager,
line.
yeah,
That's
like
not the line.
that. Yeah. I think I really foresee Samuel's point, and it's also like crucial because like if we don't have a beam lead and we say okay, and every call we say is there any volunteer who wants to do beam work, it might not be a sustainable approach. We need like one lead. Okay, you organize your team, give us a weekly update, and you figure out based on the timeline. So like giving them some responsibility or ownership of something will be crucial. And maybe like this is like a project and people are joining, so we might need like a one main lead and one like co-lead. So if like, there is a big commitment and the main lead needs to drop out, like the co-lead is also engaged in the process, and like we have some resilience in the structure.
yeah, and also like because I mean, for example, for Crypto Barista, given the time gap that we have for the project, I think it's nice that we do an experiment of like trying to bring more people on board. But I think, and the way that I see that it will be healthy is that we figure out like a number of how much can we grow for this project to do the experiment. Because probably like for this project, considering the time and the experience that we have together, it will be difficult just to receive 50 people in one hit, you know. But
Yeah.
so okay, maybe we decide okay, the person that will be in charge of the metaverse, what does it believes that he needs, we somehow we need to trust, so like be there and be helpful and understand that okay, like maybe I can work with 10 people for, I don't know, just
Yeah.
by saying something. Okay, that's acceptable. Okay, let's figure out if we can manage 10 people in such a short time, because we don't have any idea what we're gonna receive, how it's gonna do. So the smaller we have it, at least for now, at least for Crypto Barista, I think it will be healthier, rather than just open the doors for
Yeah.
100 people to enter, right?
Yeah.
And like I have worked in like a student organization, and like we build a house, and like trust me, like there were times where there was, let's say, architecture lead and their architecture like first year second year students, and every time like let's say a few weeks later new student joined, we had to do like onboard like BIM model and stuff, and during submission ultimately the lead had to do most of the stuff, and like the new members were not able to contribute much. So I believe like definitely having like a we can either like we can divide responsibility on physical digital space, or like research design, and have that leader, and then we can have like a specific discussion. Okay, in 2 months we need to let's say submit first schematic design, and based on your experience how many members, and that lead will say I need 3 good BIM designers who else Revit or Rhino expert. And then in the DAO we go like on a hunting, or like during community call we say we need like intermediate BIM design skills, and we are deliverable in 2 months. This is an interesting project, we can onboard you, are you guys interested? And that's like we have a targeted approach that we need this many people, and that's the aim.
Yeah, another thing that I was just popped to my head right now is like, okay, like there's also here we have like two challenges. One challenge is to experiment with the DAO, which is I think one of the reasons we are all here, which is really important. But the other thing to keep in mind is that a real client will require a real quality product. So we need to figure out like a balance so we don't have like this type of problems that you were saying, like at the end of the day one person ends up with everything. So it came to my mind, what if for this, at least until we start like figuring out more details, but what if at least for now we try to bring people that is close, that we know we can trust and can do the work properly. So probably everyone has like someone like next to them that is strong enough, so any other mess that can happen in our experiment doesn't affect the quality of the project.
That's a great point. Like bringing people we know well, who are capable, and we can trust and rely. So I
Yeah.
think like we grow, like we take one step at a time. Maybe like it's better to have 2-3 passionate members working on design than 10 members who are like going like all over the direction. And okay.
Exactly. And if once you bring someone, this someone will feel the responsibility for this one that who brought you. Like in this company that I was talking, the first one that I worked, they had this thing which is kind of weird for companies. That was they used to employ family members, friends. They would prefer to hire family members and friends, someone that was like I suggest this guy, instead of someone not, which is kind of weird for a business, right? Sometimes business try to, there's even a word for this, I don't remember in English, but in Portuguese is I don't even remember Portuguese. Okay. This two languages and new stuff is giving my head a break. And they nepotism. Is this the word?
Nepotism. Yeah. Nepotism.
Thanks. And they like to do it because this person that joins, they feel the weight of the responsibility. I was brought because of this guy, and this guy is important. If I fail, it's going to be look bad also for this one on top of me who brought me. So this kind of relationship, I know it's not very DAO like, but if you pull someone, it also passes this responsibility on. I don't know, at least for this project, if you can do something like this, it should be cool.
And like I think like first 6 months, like delivering quality projects on time is important. And like like we as I said, like there is a line and there is a degree of centralization and decentralization. Like there's a decentralization in design, but maybe the centralization is recruitment and selecting like filtered candidates. Like we need to like form that line, and like maybe once we have healthy treasury, once we like deliver it, make a brand in the market, then we can grow more and like maybe invest more in like going more extreme and like second or third node of recruitment.
Yeah, it's easy to like, if we would write in our Instagrams, come join our design team and earn crypto, earn tokens. Would rank people in this project for sure. At least in Brazil, even if they think dollars, okay, it's gonna be amazing, but it's not necessarily healthy. Okay, let's do things one step at a time.
Okay, I'm gonna conclude it like with this. Like, so I wrote, we gotta make a meme for Babi drawing a line. So lastly, I think this was also interesting point. The agents, like the bots we set up in the DAO squad or guilds, people who have the ability to form and shape digital native organization may look more like grassroots community managers and leaders and less corporate VIPs. So what I'm thinking is like, let's say there's a design guild and Palak sets up a channel. Oh, these are the Pinterest and Instagram good feed for graphics related research and exploration. Then there's a squad of design squad where people are doing research, making like a new way of like NFT design ideas or something. Like it's like some like bottom up approach, which I wanted to say like it's different. And well, like you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just had one DAO related question. So like we're working on this project of Crypto Barista, right? So apart from that, I had a meeting with Babi about the graphic thing for the NFT. Then I had a meeting with Sam, maybe like I was discussing with Samuel on Discord about one of the thing that we had to do for the Crypto Barista. So I was just wondering, like since we all of us are in different time zones, and this is just one project, but I have to coordinate with three different people for three different things. So it is possible when I only have one project. But what if, like, say, after we grow, I'm working on, let's say, 3 to 4 projects? It would be difficult for me. And also, because this is not the only thing we do, right? We have a job. So we have limited time. And then how do we manage it? So I just had that question. I don't know how people do it in other DAOs. So yeah, I just wanted to ask, if we had anything in mind about how to place this.
Yeah, like earlier, what my thought is like we wanted to create a healthy treasury and good incentives. So like even like people, let's say, are working like hours, like you are like being rewarded uh, accordingly. So like for example, if my like what I believe, this is what I like there are few hours in your day which will value way more than rest of hours. Like for me, the time slot between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. is the most crucial part, and like I need to fight between like creating multiple like meetings if there are with people in different time zone, or like so even like for you like, and after that like I also have like a work job, so how do I balance that? And it's tricky. So I don't have a answer yet like how like the time management works, but ultimately since this is digital first, we might need like a better workflow. Let's say if Palak is not able to meet Samuel during daytime because Samuel has some commitment, is there a way you can write like a written summary or like way to communicate so that when Samuel comes online and see the Discord, you guys are on the same page without having one-on-one meeting? Like we might need to figure that out, like what's the best efficient way of communication.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. We should definitely try to
Yeah.
go time zone based
Yeah.
teams. At least in the masters, we had teams that worked very well because they were in the same time zones, and teams that were completely messed because they were in such a different time zones. It's not the same thing to be able to chat the whole day
Yeah.
or to try to follow up in a written feed, right?
But it could be double-edged sword. Like you can also, if you figure out an efficient mechanism, like few team members can work during the day, and when they go back to bed, like the other teams are working, so
Yeah.
it can deliver very well if we do it.
Yeah, but we have to separate it in mini
Yeah.
teams.
Many sub teams and like time-based
Yeah.
communication.
Last studio we had something like this. Like two of us would work during our nights. We would work all night, and when we would have to wake up and go to our job, the other two people would work through their nights to be able to put things together. It was good because they would pick up the work we left, but we somehow had to split in between us like this to always have someone to at least to give you feedback during your working time. So I don't know why, but I don't know how, but we're gonna do it. But when to meet something like this.
Yeah, and like in my previous office, it was a system like this only. Like a few employees would come in the morning, we would work. So there were two shifts, like morning shift and evening shift. So the evening shift would work through the night. But we had like a proper system where so we used to work on BIM. So we had like a central Revit files. But then even after having like archiving all the files, every time you were doing something new, even after all these things, they used to fight all the time that what did you do? I had to submit that project. Why did you change it? So, it's like very difficult to coordinate like technically, but it adds a lot of productivity. That is.
No, it is true. Like the way that I work, for example, with my team, it's as well like everything is online, and but one thing that I notice is that once you start like building enough trust and you start like also knowing more and more the people, even if it's in a digital way, but you actually start like knowing more about the person, it's easier to get the communication, even if it's just by text. You don't have, in my experience, we start to have like less meetings now, and most of our conversation tends to be like just in text. And when you see it, you see it. And but people is the thing that also makes the people to engage in the text and in being part of it is that we know that, well, at least in this side, not talking right now in our DAO, but we are surviving by that. So we know we have to do it. It's work, it's responsibility. We are part of something, but we just keep it like as simple as we can for everyone to actually enjoy their life as well. Because we cannot be like the full time in meetings. I think right now, for example, like the way that I see this right now happening, we start to have meetings here in our DAO because we are putting together, like we have to put together many things that we don't have built. But in the future, we will probably won't have like this amount of a studio. We will have a different activity, but it will be a totally different from what we are having right now because it will be evolving coming years. So, and also one of the things that I believe, Palak, about these DAOs is that hopefully, like in the long term, like I don't know exactly what's the long term, but like you can get like your survival from this instead of from a traditional company. So these type of organizations actually replace the structure that we have in companies. So now it's up to you how much you want to earn. Let's say it like that. How much you want to invest, and it would be great if we can achieve this point. Like, someone is happy just by doing, I don't know, this X amount of work, but someone is more into it. So just like we are saying, it's decentralized. It doesn't need to be something that you are 8 hours here and doing all this, and maybe you do 3 hours, but your 3 hours were like super effective and you earn like 100 tokens because that was the value of that task. Who knows? But I see this more like that, like no worry, at least in the future for coordination, like and digital is easy to coordinate, I guess.
Maybe I'm thinking about Barbara's analogy of drawing a line in my job. What is like centralized job versus decentralized DAO hours? And maybe like the degree will change. Sometime you might do like a part-time centralized job and part-time DAO job, and then at a point, like we don't know, like if like this things picks up and we have 10 projects, we have like healthy treasury and like full committed, like we might need to do some hires or like have full-time. It's very open at this stage.
One thing I was thinking about this that someone said really fast, just to wrap up. We might not know everybody from the team very well, every project. That might be a reality. Or we decide that we only go with teams like, I don't know, guilds inside the guilds. Like, we have this team that always work together, like in the school, in the college, when we had a team that we know that would work well together. You know that when you want to repeat the same team to every group work, or not, or if not, if it's always open, we have to have a strategy how to proper manage this kind of conflicts, because they're gonna happen. There's gonna be someone that will not be easily to work together in a group and gonna lag down everything and gonna put a problem in everything. That's an issue. Have you considered not having someone from people, like someone like a psychology, physicist, psychologo,
psychologist,
psychologist.
Psychologist.
There might be someone like this, probably, because in the companies they exist, right? There's a whole part of the company, someone to deal with problems with people. We might need someone who has some kind of way to deal with this, to arrange all these things and understand how to I don't know, but
Kind of,
this is gonna be a
kind,
problem.
kind of HR for DAO, like mental health issues people can talk about, or like if there are like people who are difficult to work with, they can
Yes.
complain. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have some kind of grading system for ourselves. Like once we finish, not only okay, this person delivered this amount of work, but this person's like a
Oh,
5-star person to work with. It was very
feedback.
fun. Not necessarily like open feedback, maybe,
Yeah,
because we might
yeah,
not
yeah.
be so this kind of honest, but I had teams in this master that really it was a huge crazy experience. There were teams that did not deliver anything because one single person, and I saw this person being a problem trimester after trimester. And it was simple if we could say, okay,
Yeah.
this person is not group suited,
Yeah.
group work suited, work material, you know. I don't know if
Yeah.
it would be possible, but to rank people, this person is nice, this person could improve.
Go ahead, Samuel. Yeah.
No, I was thinking that like I had companies where like I work in a company where we used to, there was like this kind of like a feedback that people used to do with the people that they work close to it. And well, for example, I people, for me it was like, okay, so what's the point of this? I was thinking like, what if the feedback, instead of just being like a typical, okay, you're at, you have to improve this, what if it's a like a group feedback that instead of focusing on the person itself, try to focus on, okay, these were the things that we lack. Like, okay, we lack more communication here. Maybe we lack more innovation here. Maybe we lack more, but as look at it as a team, rather than, because one of the advantages, I think, Bobby, that we will have at least in the DAO, because it's small, is that people is actually here because they want to build something. They are not here in force will. They are not here in so I think that's a good sign, because it seems that, well, it proves that people is wanting to do and want to participate, rather than a typical company where, okay, they're gonna pay me and I'll go because they pay me. Here we are not exactly what we're gonna get. We are not sure of anything, and that thing, like at least for now, it's a good sign.
That will filter out.
Yeah, it's already a filter, like an instant filter for like this type of problematic person that I totally agree. Like I also had like that, and
everybody knows one, right?
yeah. And I think that's one of the advantages of the DAO, honestly. Like it opens the door for people that actually want to show something or want to prove something or want to work, and it's passionate about it. It's not the typical incentives that you get in a company. And probably the incentives, once this thing is more structured, the way you earn the incentives here is completely different to the way you earn the incentives in a normal company. So if we actually make that shift, then I think that's when we're gonna have like the big jump where all people is going to just go out of companies.
That would be a threshold, like a good incentive mechanism. If like for producing one task or delivering one task, I'm getting like good sense of reward, like, and it I can pay for my weekly expenses or monthly, like then people have the choice now to make, oh, this could be a good regular stream of income, and I'm working on things I like, so why not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was in this. I was in a company like that. I remember they all, one of the rules they had is like they offer you like being a partner, becoming a partner of the company, but after you work with them for like 20 years. And yeah, and I was just like, what is this? Like 20 years of what? Like even, without the enough incentives, and more for like I will put it like that, but more for our generation that we want things like so fast. We need to figure out a system that helps you to get things like fast. And like in DAOs, I think that you can access and you are part of the community, and that's like a belonging sense that I think is really important that we can provide to people.
Yeah, and the flexibility is also very open. Like let's say you join like a design guild and you say, okay, I learned, now I wanted to learn something else. You can move from design guild to a research guild in the same DAO, and like suddenly like people, it becomes friendly, and you are learning and you're working on things you're interested. So
Yeah.
okay, I think it's gonna be like 3 hours, so we gotta wrap up.
Yeah.
This is like watching a movie, and people are like, this guy needs to stop
No.
talking, give me the
Yeah.
summary.
We definitely need that app I sent here. Recording highlights.
Mhm. So lastly, like the previous social contract inside a company was based on employee salary. The new digital social contract may be like much stronger component of long-term sustainability. We need to survive together, and I must be able to rely on you for the organization to survive. Oh, so this is a different kind of trust we are building, or like a sustainable model. And that's where I think the- Samuel or Barbara, you mentioned that if you're bringing one friend, you build on an organizational trust, and both of you work together, both of you get more incentive, the whole organization get more incentive, and like there's no unfair distribution of those rewards. So like it's similarly to like okay, you invest in a stock in another company, and if they people work hard, if they have success, you get some profit. But ideally you would like to invest in a stock where you are working, and the more you work you get more reward, and you control the profit of that. So it's it's kind of like a reinforcing incentive. I, s- I suspect leaders in digital organization will require commitment, proof of work, or sweat equity. So yeah, it's like task based and proof of stake. So that's where like earlier in the morning we were having like, how can we have like more people continue till the end of the project? So when like let's say people are join Crypto Barista, do we need to stake like say some money or tokens, and at the end of the project people can unstake it and as well as get financial reward for all the work they do. So that's why there's like some built-in incentive for them to commit long term, and people are not just like join some meetings, learn something, let's leave, we go to other DAO. Like that's one
Yeah.
of the things we need to figure out. Communication, digital empathy. Oh, this is wait like this requires another discussion of like how to develop empathy in a DAO. Ambiguity navigation. What is the emergent practice? Failure management. Oh, maybe every month or every 2 months we should have also like a reflection meeting for Crypto Barista. What are the things which worked out well? What can be improved? So like yeah.
What do you mean by failure management?
Oh, so
What do they mean?
uh, I think like I'm my perspective is like building a resilient model. Let's say if Crypto Barista or one project fails, how to develop a DAO where like you also have other model, so the DAO keeps ongoing. Like we have like other clients or other projects or other financial means to navigate in this failure mode or
Okay. See.
online charisma. So meme literacy, X community influence. Yeah. So the good part is like we know like our DAO is focused on architects, and we have like a niche market to cover, and maybe like architects who are interested in technology or competition design or innovation space. So maybe like having our brand and like strong influence or in that community would be crucial. I also suspect traditional leaders who thrived on operational efficiency may not be very welcome inside newly forming DAOs. Redundancy and opportunistic openness is key. Yeah, that I think like we discussed briefly, like things don't work out, and even like in the beginning of the article, like there was like how quickly we adapt to new situation and new opportunity. Was the community leaders what was that, like influence metric, like mobilization metric, where okay, there's new opportunity comes quick, how can we make like community decisions within an hour, how can we say yes and pursue the project, how can we get 10 members committed to this and deliver it. So that adaptability is going to be key, which is like traditional organization can get very bureaucratic. Like even if I want to start a new computational design team, it might take like 2 months to just get approval from a higher authority. We totally want to eliminate that, and we want like that quick feedback decision making loop to facilitate this. New leaders of digital organization will have to embrace and seek focus and avoid. Oh my god! So this is at we are at this stage. Uh, Avoid opportunities that are not good. We don't want to become another metaverse studio or now like that's like the best part is like the projects we have in place are like innovation focus, and that's one of the philosophy, like pushing the boundary in the space. So we have something to deliver, but like for future projects we are being very selective and filtering out. Still needed. Okay, this is also clarity. You
Yeah.
need to figure out. So lastly, 3 DAO leadership exams. Contributors are peers, not reports. Who? Okay. I think uh, yeah, it's also like we are in this together. Like you're not reporting to anyone like higher, so it's gonna be tricky for us to figure out like if there is like a beam lead or beam guild lead or research guild lead. So like people who are working in that guild should not feel that they are reporting to a boss or something. Like it's peers. So
Uh,
we will figure out. Yeah, sorry.
no, yeah, definitely agree that DAO. I mean, some of the things that we've been talking, I guess that I think or one good mindset will be like DAO is completely the opposite of a traditional company. So if it's the opposite of a traditional company in terms of structure and how it's formed, like and how does it prevail, I think that we should try to maybe just think like, okay, so what not to do in a DAO,
Hmm.
you know, that is it's already being done in the real world. Maybe that will kind of guide us to how this structure can actually work. Because I mean, just like contributors are prisoner reports, then okay, so how we evaluate people? So normally people is evaluated by I don't know punctuality. So okay, completely out of the game here in the DAOs, right? Because we don't have even like a time zone to report. So at least maybe we can. I don't know. We'll take it maybe for another meeting, but give it a thought to that. What are the things that we can actually do that is out of the box, right?
Hmm. Drawing a line here. What is traditional? What do we need? We things for sure we shouldn't do in a DAO, which traditional organization do. Like having those clear bullet points, no hierarchy, no reporting structure. Like it's task based, so everyone is like incentives are divided equally among everyone. Not like the project managers get more, the junior architects get less. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, so I, we have to see
It's gonna be a
that.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna dream about the line. A nightmare line.
But I think like what I foresee this is like we are experimenting, and like some of these experiments will succeed, some of it fail, but whatever
but
is succeed will like lessons learned, and this is becoming like a precedent for future architecture practice or future architecture project. Like so nothing we are doing is like right or wrong. We got to experiment and constantly challenge and adopt new ways. If we feel coordinate is not working, we'll write okay, these are 3 things why coordinate might not work in architecture studio. So it's becoming a lesson learned for other future architecture DAOs or design DAOs.
Okay. Do you know if there's any other experiment like this we could read about? Is there any other decentralized studio who wrote like the experience, like about the experiment?
Like most like close I inspiration I take is like Cabin DAO.
Yeah.
Like they are like the newsletter is very insightful, and they're becoming like a decentralized city state for, I don't know, retreats, or like what would be a good, yeah, I maybe we can like share some references on the Discord, and like uh oh,
Yeah, I saw a
this
presentation
is a
about
good article. Okay, next time we should do this onboarding as wayfinder.
Cool.
All right. Okay. At the risk of pushing this fast, the community is governed by local tempo and not appointed by leads. Ooh. Okay.
Local temple, not by appointed leads. What did it does it?
So like we were thinking like community leaders will develop another community leaders and like grow. We're saying, oh, it's governed by. So maybe there's a, let's say, the local temperature. Let's say there is an India group and like there are community members in India. They might govern and elect an Indian delegate to do voting or meeting participation. So maybe that, like, so we are not appointing an Indian lead, but the bottom up approach, the community members from India are appointing an Indian lead. Maybe that's the point.
I see.
Scale is
I
achieved through aligned autonomy, not coordinated tactical planning. Ooh. These are like deep points.
Yeah.
Um, so-
It is. Yeah, I think I don't know, like this point, like right, like this one, it makes me think, like wonder how true can that be. You know, I don't know if I mean, coordination is outside of DAO. In any architectural project, or like any project, I think coordination is definitely like a key part of succeeding. So
yeah,
yeah,
I
that's tricky.
Here it's about scale, right? And like
yeah. So
they mean scaling the DAO.
so what my take is like for example, the let's say the group decides we're gonna scale in by having ambassadors, and we are gonna scale in Europe or like Africa. That's like coordinated planning, and we like actively recruit, like send, let's say, people from there as ambassadors. But maybe like there's like few community members from Brazil who decide, oh, I'm gonna implement this in my city, and I'm gonna invite friends from Colombia, and like it grows like scale organically with the community, and like it aligns with the autonomy. Like, so let the community decide and scale what the project they're interested, rather than like we imposing.
Mm.
That's my take.
It probably will grow healthier if
Mm,
it goes by this aligned autonomy instead of trying to enforce things.
correct. And like we need like those passionate people, because now the community said, okay, the Brazil people wants to collaborate with Colombian people, like, and they are deeply invested. They are in it, it's their initiative, rather than like we say, oh, community ambassador in Colombia, you organize 2 events in Colombia at the university or a workshop, and like, oh, okay, I'll get some financial incentive and I'll organize. But if there are like group of friends in Colombia, oh, let's make this a big thing in Colombia, it's a whole another scaling approach. They will curate.
Yeah. It's a bit like beam implementing. It doesn't matter what a leader says. Okay, let's do beam. Everybody now has to do beam. It's not gonna happen. Give up. It's only gonna happen if bottom up decides to do beam, right?
Correct.
I think it's the same thing there.
Right. This is 3 hours. It was like very like You know what? I was like, my plan was, okay, I'll go through this article in 30 minutes and go to the main article. But it's good that I filtered out the main point.
Good.
I
Okay.
think it was a good one. It was definitely
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah.
Well, once we get to know more what we think, we're gonna go faster for the next ones. I believe it's
Yeah.
gonna we have to be
I
more
think like,
productive.
yeah, like covering more articles might not be important. Like covering one in detail and finding like translations in application in our DAO or other like DAOs we are in. I think like this was the best part. Like earlier we had network state and we like understood, but we didn't had much discussion on like, okay, how do we do translate into like the current practices. And this was like very good collaborative, like indeed like a group study where everyone was sharing ideas and it was aligning with the content. A good brainstorming session.
Good learning.
Yeah, cool. Should we do summary or
Oh
I'm
God,
already exhausted
Yeah.
speaking.
why did we come up with this idea?
Eh,
Okay, I'm gonna
okay.
ask uh Palak for like, let's do like 2 minutes takeaways or summary, and if someone wants to volunteer, they can write some points. Uh, yeah.
So I was not there for the like I think 1 hour, previous 1 hour.
Mhm.
So if anybody wants to like go through that, and then I can maybe go through some points of what we discussed in the later part.
That sounds great. I'm gonna I'm gonna go last, and uh, either Samuel or Bobby, if you like to go.
Samuel?
Mm, I will just say for the key points to close. Yeah, it's really important. Like one of the things that I will take is have a big clarity on what's the DAO, where are we going. I think that's in any type of organization. I will take that. Like we need to figure out uh, this orientation. I think it's super important. Um, uh, Understanding the structure that we will have for a project and understanding the structure that we have for a DAO. I think we have to split that, like definitely, at least in my understanding so far of what is a DAO. Project keeps in some sort of way being the traditional structure or needs the tradition, not traditional structure, but a structure. And the structure that where DAO allows to merge people no matter the background, the the degree, the specialization, whatever. And then I think in the middle of that is like how can we merge that properly? Because DAO is really decentralized, but the project is not decentralized itself. So I think there's still a gap that we need to figure out. Um, those and the one that we were saying about uh, how we create teams in the DAO. I think that's also really important. How people is joining, how do we keep them? So I will take those three as the main things that we talked today. I mean, all of the things that we talk are amazing, but those are the ones that are doing that resonate with me today.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will go for very shortly. Clear vision for the DAO, clear path for new members, onboarding, very, very clear and accessible, and carefully go through the leadership role. Like
Mhm.
we could also have like regular meetings for who wants to be a better leader in a DAO, because we learned a lot of how it could go and how bad it could go. Also, we discussed a lot of it. And okay, I would say this 3 points.
Wait, so carefully go through leadership, vision clarity, and
Clear path for new members,
okay.
onboarding and accessibility.
Okay. Palak?
Yeah, again, and quickly going through the key ideas. So when I joined, we were discussing about the newsletter, having a newsletter for to update all the new members about all the ongoing projects and maybe what we're going to do. Secondly, Samuel's idea of creating a hook for the new beginners. Then an introduction to the DAO. So if somebody is planning on joining the DAO, maybe just giving them a quick overview about what the DAO is. Um, then the I think this point Barbara already mentioned about growing the teams in a proper way, and what would be the correct path, choosing a correct path. Another idea, giving, I think it was Samuel's idea, giving unique value to the members over the time based on the work they're doing. Again, Mayur, your idea of designing a quest for the beginners for them to navigate to what area of project they want to contribute. And yeah, that's about it.
Dang, you gave like a really great bullet point summary.
We found our summary girl. We need
Yeah.
we need to have a list for every meeting, right? We should
Yeah.
have a list. She's amazing in putting everything together. It's incredible.
Mhm. Totally agree. And I was thinking maybe like in the summary, we share like takeaways, bullet points of like key ideas, uh, no, like key article takeaways, key ideas we brainstormed, and then like lastly, action items for us. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, so maybe if we divide and someone is interested, like I'll take okay, I'm gonna take a role of like setting up one-on-one call with next 5 people, or we the main content was like community leaders or DAO leaders grow and train and mentor a subset of another DAO leaders. So can we identify 2 or 3 people in our network or in our group in DAO and maybe organize a call and maybe like form relation and start mentoring? Like this is our responsibility. Like now we learned how to be a good leader, and now we are also training and mentoring other people to be a good leader and sharing our knowledge. So like uh yeah, maybe let me see what are like some action items which we could do. So definitely, uh, sorry.
Could we try to go for the clear vision for the DAO first? I don't know.
Yeah, high priority item. Yeah, that yeah. Let's
Yeah,
make
makes
high
sense.
priority items. Yeah, high priority item is roadmap, uh, and a very small action item, but high yield could be like a creating a meme channel and like reels we mentioned about like call to action. Okay, 1 minute. Oh, yeah, accessibility and inclusiveness of DAO is very important. So like a glossary of common terms of crypto, glossary of like summary of what is DAO is a good action item, and like a lot of people will benefit. And the next season or like future timeline is once like for next month or two we are focusing on internal growth, so developing a better infrastructure, and future we are focusing on external growth, so we may do like architectural like presentation at university or architectural organizations. And also like if you're doing courses we can like onboard and teach a lot of new people about DAO and metaverse. So it's like kind of a community impact which we can enroll. And starting a Twitter summary of like main points of what we do. I think like low work, high impact activity. Uh, maybe and ultimately what we are trying to do like with projects and various roles is giving people some responsibility and have some accountability for them. Okay, you take initiatives, and like in let's say in community calls you give like a weekly update what happened in design guild, give us like a 2 minute guilds update or something. And And also lastly, experimenting with like better project documentation workflow. So let's say we are like Crypto Barista is a group project, and we can test out like working of coordinate app, which I can like add your guys' wallet and see like how we allocate gives, and like at some point we need to track all the hours which we are committing to the project, so which will help us also find a better like fairly give back the incentive we receive from the client back to the community. So the sooner we start with better time tracking tools, the better it is. I think those are the some action items you can do.
Great. Do you have it written?
I wrote like 6 things to do, but it's yeah.
Great.
Maybe I can share it on our Discord, and maybe
Mhm.
Palak, if you have summary, we can also share the points, and we'll just
Mhm.
combine them. And
Perfect.
Yep.
this was amazing call. I loved so much. We can go for next 3 more hours, but it was like really good.
Great, guys. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll speak next time. But it was great.
See you.
Monday, right?
Yep.
I need to decide the time for the crypto.
Yay.
Yeah,
And
let's decide the time soon.
okay, and should we shut in